Week 4 of Season of the Witch. ERIS has no clue what she's doing, but something begins to change. She calls on power of the worms, which includes Ahsa from last season. The two will hold together her tithes, but if they don't succeed, ERIS will remain Hive forever, and Ahsa lost to time. Let's recap the events of Week 4. Week 4 starts talking to Amaru at the holo projector. As of last week, Xivu began to attack the throne world, and ERIS questioned what to do next. This week, Amaru reflects that. He thinks ERIS doesn't have a clue what she's doing and we're kind of lost. Savathun had this thing planned from the beginning. Even after her death, she has to undo our Guardian's mistakes. We didn't let her steal the Traveler away, and the Witness completed its goal in entering the Traveler. So now she must fix what the Guardians failed to do upon her death, Amaru trying to help us.
Hey there, Twinkles. Heading back into the throne world? Gonna hope Savathun left some tips about beating Xivu you can peek at. Because from where I'm sitting, ERIS doesn't have a clue. I don't think you realize how lost you'd be without Savathun's plan. Even dead, she's smarter than you. She had it all figured out years ago. Take the Traveler, seal it away, keep it hidden from the Witness, clean and easy. But there's nothing you Guardians hate more than a plan you're not the center of. So you stormed the gates. Liberated your darling Traveler, and put it exactly where the Witness knew you would. And now, here we are, with everything pretty much ruined. So go ahead, keep trying to outsmart Savathun, when she's just trying to undo all the damage you've done. The Traveler didn't make a mistake when it chose the Hive. It was fixing the mistake it made when it chose you.
We head into the throne world and do a couple of quests, get some kills with void weapons, complete patrols, and then a lost sector to power up our new attunement. There isn't really a new mission or anything this week, but a small twist that involves Sloane and Ahsa from last season. Ahsa and ERIS, we find out, are bound by this Hive ritual. Ikora wants to speak with Ahsa, but Sloane disagrees. At that moment though, she speaks through.
Welcome back, Sloane.
It's good to be back. But from Ahsa's impressions, I guess this isn't a social call.
Unfortunately not. What do you know about Eris's plan?
Only that she and Ahsa are bound by some kind of Hive ritual. I was against it, but like Ahsa said, sometimes we have to become our enemies to defeat them.
That's exactly what concerns me. Sloane, I need to speak with her.
No. Ahsa's done enough for the Vanguard. She's barely recovered from... I will speak. Bound by covenant. Tithes held between... a current...
You're helping Eris contain the energy from the tithes.
Eroding. Hollowing. Release in time. Or remain bound. Without end.
If the ritual goes on for too long, Eris will be trapped as a hive.
And Ahsa will be corrupted. Twisted into... something horrible. Ikora, I'll tear the tower to the ground before I let anything happen to her.
It won't come to that, Sloane. I promise.
The hope here is to help contain the energy ERIS is getting from all these tithes. If not, ERIS may be stuck in this Hive form forever. We know she can currently sort of control it, morph in and out to human form and back, but if the ritual continues for a certain amount of time, Eris will be trapped as Hive and Ahsa corrupted. Eris knows this was not an easy path, this ritual she's performed. She thought she was ready, but she now sees some issues. Ahsa responded when Eris called out the worms. Instead of Eris feeding on this pain herself, she's feeding on Ahsa's pain. Eris doesn't want to be Hive forever.
Guardian, I have been taking time to reflect on Ikora's conversation with Sloane and Ahsa. I knew there would be torment in embracing the Hive and the poisonous squall of their violence. I thought myself prepared for it. I have lived long in shadow, and the shrieking horrors of the Hive would provide solace from my quotidian dreams. When I named the worms, I evoked only their resonance, but Ahsa responded. She is a willing and vital catalyst to empower my morph, but her pain is real and immense. My aim in this grotesque conversion was to shoulder the risk myself. But feeding from Ahsa's suffering, that is a line I did not think I would cross. Guardian, keep by my side so that we may soon leave these deeds behind us. I refuse to become something I am not.
In the terminal entry, Eris explains the worms further.
The worm gods extract their sustenance from between what is and what might be, between the actual and the possible. When the Hive made their ill-fated pact with these worms, they gained immortality and the power to make of the world as they willed. Few beings in this universe derive their power this way. The Queen of the Reef believes it is the same method as the Ahamkara.
The Wish Dragons were too dangerous to exist.
So is Xivu Arath. My connection to Ahsa is regrettable. But this was the only path towards my goal. I invoked the worms, and she answered.
And did you know that this would happen?
It was possible. As all things are possible with this kind of power. This bond has not been attempted since the worm gods made their bargain with Witness. Ahsa may have rejected it then, but the desire to overpower the universe with one's will is woven into her being. She is not beholden to it, not addicted or enslaved. The deep is not her nature. But I have tangled myself within this desire through the use of the staff's larva. Now I possess her power.
This could kill both of you.
That risk is ours to take.
So Eris mentions the Ahamkara, which is kind of interesting. She doesn't want to connect with Ahsa, but apparently it's her only path. She called upon the worms, and Ahsa, being one of those proto-worms, was dragged into this ritual herself. In the lore card for this week, it explains this a little further. Here's some text from the bottom of it. The gruesome nature of the speaker's method became clear. Ahsa was to become a vessel for their harvested power, a battery for their profane logic, just like her corrupted kin. Waves of conflicting emotion cascaded through Ahsa as memories of her flight from Fundament resurfaced. After her escape, Ahsa had spent millennia in grief for her lost brethren, but always dormant beneath the surface of her despair was a faint gleam of hope, like buried treasure, a hope that one day she might redeem their depravity. A hope which now rose to the surface wielding the very sword she once fled. Ayat, Ayat, Ayat. Upon the final invocation, Ahsa perceived the fullness of her caller's intent. They sought power not for themselves or even their species. They sought to preserve the very cosmos as they knew it, to save it from the cruel grasp of a wounded tyrant using the only tool they could. The proto-worm imagined the universe swelling and contracting like the tides. Beyond the reckoning of any one being, when moved by such swells, one could only accept their impetus, making of them the best one could. From her bounding with Sloane, Ahsa knew this was what humans called fate. So there you have it, Guardians, a quick little recap of this week's story. Ahsa is involved in ERIS MORN's Hive ritual to gather all these tithes, and if something doesn't happen, maybe both of them will fall in the end. We need to figure out a way to stop this. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.